A happy Friday to you and yours. It's the 20th of June. Welcome inside the vault for a Ravens lunch hour live stream. I'm Bobby Trossett. Sarah is off today. She'll be back on Monday, spending some time with her family. Well-deserved. It's been utterly chaotic for her after vacation. So looking forward to getting her back in action on Monday. And then we will be live, just so everyone's calendars are up to date. We will be live on Monday and Tuesday of next week. And then our annual dark period, for those of you who've subscribed within the last year or so, maybe you aren't aware that every single July, over July 4th week, we take a 10-day hiatus where we have some pre-recorded content drop, and other days there is no content. To be quite honest with you, it's much needed time that we need in order to gear up for what is the ultimate grind, and that is a football season when you cover the sport. Not quite the ultimate grind that it is playing the sport, obviously, from a player perspective, but time that we so desperately need to give you what we commit to, and that's year-round daily Ravens content. So with that, glad you're here. Welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trossett. You can like the video on your way in, subscribe if you haven't already done so, hit that notification bell, and consider becoming a channel member or perhaps gift giving like Nate Campbell just did, getting us started today. We begin at 888 channel Voltrons. That's official channel members. And perhaps, as Park Heights Prophet has proposed we do, potentially that 1,000 number is hit at some point. I just want to say, being that it's another end to a week and gearing up for vacation next week and whatnot, just a lot of gratitude and a big thank you from us to you for making this work. It's been 3 years now since we've been live and since we've launched our company and our channels, and never would have pictured it going in this direction to this intense level. And I'm just loving every step of the way. And I know I speak for Sarah on that as well. So thank you. Happy Friday. Here's what I got coming up over the course of the next hour, which is brought to you by my friends at Baltimore County Golf. Emmanuel Acho and James Jones and LeSean McCoy had a conversation about Lamar, excuses, postseason blame, so on and so forth, where he is at this point in his career entering season number 8. And Shady McCoy gave a passionate defense of Lamar after comments that were made by his co-hosts, Acho and James Jones. We'll begin with that. I'll share some thoughts regarding their most recent conversation on the facility. Then Rashod Bateman issued a little bit of a warning in his recent interview on NFL Network. Derrick Henry, brutally honest on the Super Bowl with Rich Eisen. Lamar, this dude absolutely destroyed an analyst, a content creator online in the Instagram comment section. I think you're going to enjoy this one. And Ian Rappaport with the latest on the Ravens' visions for Isaiah Likely, the tight end who, of course, enters a contract year as the rest of the Ravens tight end room does. So all that and more is what I have coming up. Thank you for the early super chats. Woo Woo and Troy Roberson have become new channel members as of yesterday. Douglas H. Brown Sr., who's a channel member, says we got to help keep Bobby on track since Sarah is not here, Flock. So let's go. Appreciate you, Douglas, for checking in. Thanks for the love. Shallow Water Hunter says, been listening since the 15-minute or less days. You guys inspired me to get my YouTube channel going. Keep it up. Always listening. Shallow, let us know what that YouTube channel is. Is it called Shallow Water Hunter? Because I'd love to plug it. We appreciate you, and thank you for being here literally since our 15 minutes or less days. That's insane. When we were an audio-only podcast, it's come a long way. Coming up on 25,000 subscriptions, by the way. Hopefully we'll hit that at some point within the next couple weeks. And Nate Campbell gets us started in gift giving, as I mentioned. So 889 is where we sit right now as the show begins. Thank you guys for being with me today. Lecky T has donated a super chat as well. We appreciate you. Let's get into today's content. Without further ado, LeSean McCoy taking a take of Emmanuel Acho's and James Jones to task on the facility this week. I think you'll appreciate it. Here's Shady.
That last playoff game against Ravens versus the Bills, you can't put that on Lamar.
But you got to go the whole game.
Got to go the whole game. Not the second half. Not the second half.
Time out for a second.
I'm time all
Y'all all play football.
Yes, sir.
So y'all just play perfect games?
No. But I was never a two-time MVP.
Time out.
Personally.
Well, Well, Pat don't always play perfect games either.
He doesn't, but he wins them.
Bro, stop with the malarkey. All right, seriously. Lamar didn't play well the first half. Second half was on fire.
Fire.
And then my all-pro tight end drops the pass to tie the game, and we blame it on Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
I was always taught this, fellas. You ready? You know what when they take that check.
Pat the chest.
It ain't how you start the game.
How you finish.
All right, and he finished strong.
Here's my thing, though, because even when Shady was talking about Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that's no longer an acceptable excuse for me for why Lamar Jackson hasn't gotten to one. It's no longer an acceptable, and I put in quotes the words excuse. Patrick Mahomes is great. Andy Reid is maybe the greatest. But y'all know this, and we know this, I would suggest, and I would hope better. Football's the ultimate team sport. Yeah. If this was a game of basketball, if it was tennis, we all just watch Coco Gauff win individually. If it's basketball, only 5 players on the court at a time, then you could suggest to me that one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and one J-Dub could win a whole thing. It's football. It's 11 people. No. At the point in which Lamar Jackson has gone to war with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen and Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton and Jadeveon Clowney and Madu BK, at the point in which he's gone to war with those people and didn't win, at the point in which, Shady, I'm looking at it, he had a number 1 defense in 2023. The number 1, not 2, 3, number 1. 2022, he had the number 3 defense. 2019, he had the number 3 defense. 2020, he had the number 2 defense. It's no longer an excuse because Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are absolutely phenomenal, and you can never discredit them. But we're talking about 2 people. Offensively, bring in Travis Kelce. Now we're talking about 3 people. The Ravens have gone to battle. Shady, I said 5 All-Pros on defense alone. You talk about the Cowboys, they had 9 All-Pros. Mind you, 1 was a punter, 1 was a kicker, and 1 was a kick returner. You talk about the Ravens, they have 5 All-Pros on defense alone starting. Not kickers, not punters, not long snappers, bona fide dudes. Lamar, it has to be enough.
This is mind-blowing to think that Lamar gets blamed for all this. I guess he's the best player. Is that how it works?
That's how it works.
He's by far the best player.
It's terrible. But y'all played this thing, man. Y'all suit up. Y'all put that helmet on. Y'all put that mouthpiece in.
No doubt.
You smell that grass on Sunday.
Correct.
And y'all blame him for everything. Like this last game he had against the Bills. That was all on him?
Not all.
No,
of course, not all.
I'm not saying all, but I'm saying he wasn't at his best, though.
Yeah.
He would look damn good
He
in
didn't
that
turn
second
the ball
half.
over for like 10 weeks straight, and then you get into the playoff game, you want to do it twice in the first half?
And then what, though, James?
And then you lost.
There is no and then what? Yeah, and then you lost 2-5.
Okay, cool. So I guess from now on, I'm gonna write that down too. Cause y'all say some crazy things on the show. So now the dude got to be perfect from quarter 1 to 4. He played bad the first half. Cool. The second half, how he look like that?
He looked great. I'm not saying you got to play
brought them boys
perfect.
all the way
I'm just saying
back.
you got to play better than Patty and Josh.
That's it.
In sports, there's all type of games we can watch. You go to the classics and you see guys that play bad in the first half and they have a great second half.
No
and
question.
then memories are made. So if the tight end catches that pass because you're all pro, right? You tie the game up, and then anything can go from there. But that could be the story for the decade.
It was a 15-minute segment. I had to grab like 2:33 minutes or so and condense it as much as possible just for all of your sanity purposes. But I think you get the point. While James Jones and Emmanuel Acho aren't putting the full blame on Lamar last year in that divisional round loss, I don't know how you could, even though he was responsible for a couple turnovers. They had 3 as a team, by the way. And maybe, by the way, if you want to be specific, was he directly responsible for the 2 turnovers that he was involved in? Maybe not, because of the Bateman route. But point is, Lamar was not himself in that first half. And he certainly looked himself in the second half, which is why Shady was like, look, can you expect perfection and 4-quarter perfection football in the month of January? I don't think that's realistic to expect, particularly in that kind of climate. Buffalo didn't get that kind of perfection from Josh Allen, by the way, in that game. He was 16 of 22 for 127 yards. That's a quarterback rating of 86.7. Now, he was efficient on the ground. 10 carries, 20 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's only 2 yards per carry, but the 2 touchdowns obviously stick out. Lamar's numbers, 18 of 25, 254 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, a pick. He was sacked twice, a quarterback rating of 114.4. Okay, 6 carries for 39 yards. He outplayed Josh in that head-to-head matchup, but has nothing to show for it. That's the reality of it. Josh Allen has been the more consistent, productive postseason player, doesn't have anything to show for it. So here they are, both entering season's number 8. And you've got one dialogue in the national community, in the analyst community about Lamar Jackson that's very different than the dialogue about the reigning MVP. Or shall we say, MVP. It was just within the last week or so that Chris Sims, an MVP voter, mind you, second guessed where he ended up casting his vote, which of course was to Josh Allen, which contradicted the AP All-Pro. So, one thing that you cannot question, and certainly LeSean was trying to make his point felt, is that when the game was on the line and when the second half began, Lamar was in MVP form. And in a do-or-die drive without his top 2 wide receivers on a snowy, blistery, brutal. I mean, it was horrific temperatures, horrific weather in Western New York. He went 90 yards down the field. Surgically went 90 yards down the field. Hit Mark Andrews in his hands with no Zay Flowers, no Rashod Bateman. And if that ball comes down, if Mark comes down with that ball, we're probably having a completely different conversation. But Shady's comments with a passionate defense of Lamar, stop with the malarkey. He's looking right at Acho as he says it. This is mind-blowing to think that Lamar gets blamed for all of this. I guess he's the best player. Is that how it works? That's terrible. Y'all say some crazy things on this show. Dude's got to be perfect from quarter 1 to 4, which again, not exactly realistic to expect perfection in the month of January. With that said, Lamar needs to play better in January, and the trajectory suggests that he is. The 3-5 record doesn't necessarily suggest that, but if you go game by game, he's moving in the right direction. And one thing you don't often hear, because this is the micro, and oftentimes within the national side of these shows, they focus on the macro. Well, let's focus on the micro. Because what's swept under the rug more often than not, and we can all speak to this because we follow or root for or cover this team year round, is what we know is true. The fact that while this defense has often shown up in the postseason for Lamar when it comes to doing their job holding the opponent to low scores, they haven't done their job in creating turnovers. And that's something that Marlon Humphrey was adamant about addressing, by the way. He made it clear recently that you can play as well as you possibly can. Here's the direct quote. It doesn't matter how well you play defensively. If you don't take the ball away, you're not playing good enough. And ultimately, from a pass rush win rate, say that 10 times. I just botched that. Pass rush win rate wasn't going to cut it in the postseason for a team that was second in sacks last year, league-wide. And walking away from Buffalo, not having created one turnover, it's not going to cut it. And so they sweep realities like that under the rug, that while the defense has done its job, again, in terms of points allowed, more often than not throughout the Lamar era in the postseason, it has not gotten the job done when it comes to forcing and creating turnovers. Okay? They also haven't mentioned things like momentum shifting setbacks, like the Zay fumble at the goal line, the Mark Andrews drop, the Mark Andrews fumble. It was a rough game for him last year. By the way, he still finished with 5 receptions for 61 yards on 7 targets, but we'll only remember one of those targets, obviously. And so to me, a lot of this gets completely overblown, overemphasized. But one thing for sure that Shady hit on, there's no question that because Lamar has risen to the level of resume that he now boasts, to the level of really legacy-defining play in the regular season, there's a reason why he constantly is facing this goalpost-moving type of agenda. Listen to the way players, right? It's one thing about former players, and LeSean McCoy, certainly a decorated player, as was James Jones. Emmanuel Acho, not so much, but he played. All three of those guys at that desk for Fox played. What about the current players that have actually suited up against Lamar recently? How about Saints star Cam Jordan? It's always interesting to me, past versus present. Past can sometimes be a little bit out of touch. Sometimes that happens naturally. Sometimes that's agenda-driven. But the present is where I tend to hang around. And Cam Jordan, how about the humility shown here?
Is it to bring down Lamar Jackson? Like, how do you even prepare?
I don't know. I missed twice in one play.
I was not going to bring that up.
Like I've hit him. He ducked under me. I got up, slapped his ankles, and he still went for a first down. So
what do you say to him after that?
Yeah, how do you prepare for a quarterback like that?
Yeah. I mean, just as you mentioned, the Ravens rush and how they struggled against Jalen Hurts and the Buffalo Bills quarterback and Josh Allen. You say when you're trying to eliminate the mobility. Yep. So sometimes it's not a fun pass rush. It's a run your spot and make sure he doesn't leave his spot.
Yeah.
It's hey, let's see how he can damage us through the air and not through the feet and the air.
Right.
You're just trying to take some of it out.
Poison, yeah.
Absolutely. And with Lamar Jackson, there's a reason why he's an MVP. He's the epitome of a dual threat quarterback.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's become such a complete passer, right? Over, 4,100 yards last year, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And then
I'm not here for analytics. I watch the game. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a day today.
One present player in the NFC. What about a new AFC player and a member of the division in Pittsburgh, Darius Slay? He became a Steeler this offseason. Listen to what he had to say to Mina Kimes about Lamar.
Being in the AFC North is unfortunately you're in the same division as two of the best quarterbacks in a generation. Which offense do you see as a bigger challenge, personally, playing your position to go up against Joe Burrow's Bengals or Lamar Jackson's Ravens?
Man, the toughest one is the fact for me is most likely probably Lamar because the fact that he can extend plays.
Yeah.
And as a corner, you hate when plays are extended because you got to keep chasing the receiver around the field. And with Joe Burrow, he's a different person as in just, he don't have to, I ain't gonna say you don't have to say you don't have to worry about scramble drill because he's very mobile as well. But the fact that, he can throw very well, deep ball accuracy is great. So you really got to worry about ball placement with him.
Yeah, with Lamar, it's almost like 2 plays in one at times.
Always 2 plays in one with Lamar, like almost every play.
Darius Slay, the newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's like, look, there's all kinds of different perspectives when it comes to past and present players, some of whom are now analysts. I'm sure Darius, because of his podcasting experience, maybe once his career is all said and done, he ends up being an analyst on a national network. But to me, the present is more valuable in this case than the past. And while Lamar may very well be out of excuses, to use some of the lingo that's been used along the national network side of things, that to me is not the equivalent, or does not mean that he's worthy of shouldering all of the blame for postseason shortcomings in Baltimore since he showed up. Can we agree on that? He may be out of postseason excuses because he's 8 games in, and each game, of course, has a different level of symbolism to it. But why do we have to sit here and say Lamar is the sole reason when you've got 11 guys on the field at a time as to why the Ravens have fallen short? He is a reason. He is not the reason. And I think that's a very fair way of looking at this. On to Rashod Bateman, who recently caught up with Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport on NFL Network, and sticking with the Lamar conversation. He made some headlines this week. You may have seen the addition of Jair Alexander, who now joins Baltimore's secondary. Lamar spoke at a press conference for the first time with local reporters since that Buffalo loss. Made a lot of headlines. Perhaps what didn't make as many headlines as it has in the past was his frame or his stature, or to use one of the local reporters said exactly, his skinny frame. Rashod Bateman agrees. Listen to him on NFL Network.
Yesterday, your quarterback, Lamar Jackson, was asked about looking a little bit skinnier, and he said, don't say skinny. Say that I look in shape, I look fit. How does he look to you physically, and also from what you're seeing with one of the most dynamic players in the league on the field here this spring?
Yeah. I mean, everybody looks good right now. I mean, we just got done with mini camp, and I mean, everybody look fast, strong, powerful, and, you could tell that everybody's eager to get back to work and, chase this ring. But Lamar, it's funny you say that. He does look skinnier and quicker and faster, so the league is in trouble per usual.
That would be a warning that Rashod just issued. The league is in trouble per usual, telling NFL Network that he does indeed look skinnier, quicker, and faster. The league is in trouble per usual. Brian Wacker was the reporter from the Baltimore Sun that referred to Lamar as skinny during the press conference. They had a little playful and fun banter back and forth, but Lamar at this point has earned our trust, has earned some media's trust in terms of how he plans to execute his off seasons, how he plans to stay in South Florida throughout the majority of OTAs, how he plans to handle his nutrition, how he plans to handle his weight, his playing weight, his off-season weight, and everything else in between. He has earned that right with his play on the field, with how he's handled his off seasons, and ultimately the resume that he now can put forth as the exact evidence that you need that whatever Lamar's doing, it's friggin' surely working. That from Rashod Bateman on NFL Network. Moral of the story on topic number one, it's late June. It's approaching late June. They need something to talk about, and oftentimes Lamar is that lightning rod. We have seen it time and time again. Shady goes to bat for him pretty hard there with a passionate defense. Acho and James Jones stand down, or stand up, I suppose, or stand on what their takes are in terms of divvying up blame. Lamar being out of excuses. To me, season number 8 has all the framework to be yet another special one for Lamar and company, and he seems as comfortable as ever, particularly with his online activity and when he is behind a microphone. That is the teaser coming up next. But first, this episode is brought to you by our friends and our new friends at Baltimore County Golf. They have sponsored the channel all month long here in June, and I'm thrilled to be with them because, one, it's golf season, and two, I want to tell you guys more about what they have going on because they operate a bunch of different courses in and around Baltimore County, and if you want to get involved in the game, I would love for you to learn a little bit about what they got going on. So Greystone, the Woodlands, Diamond Ridge, Fox Hollow, and Rocky Point are the 5 public golf courses that they operate. You can play more and pay less with Baltimore County Golf. You can grab a 3-pack of lessons from a Baltimore County Golf teaching professional near you. That'll allow you to start playing more today. Fox Hollow Training Center, if you're looking for something the kids to do this summer, they offer special clinics over the next couple months that introduce you to the game of golf and get you more comfortable on the golf course. If you're just an avid player or you want to play more, consider signing up for the Advantage card that they have available to you. It's $40. It's going to get you greens fee and golf shop discounts, 16-day advanced tee time reservations, $20 in coupons, access to twilight times 1 hour earlier than the general public. Those things go fast this time of year. Loyalty rewards points on everything from greens fees to food and beverage. You can go to BaltimoreGolfing.com. That link is included in the show notes below in the video description if you want to check out more details. And if you click that link, it'll take you to their site. The drone footage is my favorite, by the way, from some of their courses. My favorite is probably Greystone. You can book a tee time now by clicking this link right here. Learn a little bit more about them. including their policies, hours of operation for courses, so on and so forth. There's specific locations that I already mentioned, not including the Greystone Grill. I didn't mention that. Greystone has a little restaurant there. Annual passes and specials, family fun pack. I mean, there's the Advantage card that I just mentioned. There's so much to check out. So thanks to Baltimore County Golf for the continued support. And if you want to check them out, guys, go click that link that's included in the show notes. Let's get to some super chats and gifts that have come in. Happy Friday to you and yours. Let's see. We currently sit at 889 channel Voltrons. Shallow Water Hunter says, yes, sir. This is my page. You the man, Bobby. You're the man, brother. Appreciate you. I'll have to check out your channel once I'm finished up with the show. Park Heights Prophet writes, the conversation around 8 continues to baffle me. Nothing short of a ring will shut these fools up, and probably not even then. Mentions the defensive rankings, but not how they never make key stops in the playoffs. Acho is... What is this? Is that an orange? I thought it was cheeks for a second, but what is it, PHP? Thanks for the orange super chat and a $20 donation. You're the man. Oceans writes, the Ravens could go 17-0 in the regular season, but these guys would say the same crap about Lamar over and over. But Lamar in the playoffs, facility is trash. Laura Dillander writes, I followed L from Louisville. Did I pronounce that correctly, Laura? Louisville. To the Ravens, now so invested in the Ravens due to the Lamar effect. Year 8 for number 8 is the year for all of us. And the naysaying will only get worse as we win it all this year. So ready to watch it all. So ready. Laura, I've been on Louisville radio several times over the last few years. My guy Mark Ennis down there in Kentucky doing great stuff. And it really is something to see and think about how many people from the Ville have converted to Ravens fans because of Lamar. I love that. It's the Lamar effect. We're seeing that in free agency, and we're seeing that, of course, with fandom as well. Mr. Johan Frizzle is celebrating 1 month of channel membership. No comment attached, but congratulations on 1 month in. Heather McCubbins has brought us to 894 channel Voltrons. 894. Perhaps that begins the run on this Friday. So thank you, Heather, for your continued support. You never miss a show. Mr. Johan Frizzle has brought us to 895. So on top of his celebrating for 1 month of channel membership, a gift as well. Appreciate you. Park Heights Prophet clarifying his previous post, his previous super chat. Yes, Acho is unwashed, crusty cheeks. And perhaps speaking of runs, that might begin the nonsense run in terms of dialogue in the live chat. I know what you guys do when Sarah's not here. I know the Friday effect on the live chat. And I know what's going on in Discord these days as well. I don't read every single comment. I try to. It's impossible to read every single one of them. I try to skim through it at a glance. Discord server's growing every day. We're coming up on 900 members. I would love for you guys to join. It's a great community. It's 24/7 conversation about Baltimore sports and beyond. And I promise you, it goes beyond Baltimore sports. If you'd like to join, Discord links being dropped into the live chat right now. It's a growing community, and I really enjoy it. Park Heights Prophet has gotten us back to 900. So back to 900 we go, and now PHP's been calling for it. We got a lot more content to get to at the halfway point of the show. But perhaps if there is a Friday run, 1,000 Voltrons is in the cards. We'll see. But PHP gets us back to 900. And if you're wondering why we're crawling back because we hit that number yesterday, it's simply because every single day, Voltron memberships on a monthly basis, they reset. And so the number of active current Voltrons is constantly changing every single day. So we're back to 900. We appreciate you, PHP, for the love. What I Say Junior says, Bob, if you want more possible golf sponsorship or opportunities, reach out. I hit you up on Discord. I don't think you hit me back. Did you? I direct messaged you. But email me, BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. What I say, Junior. I hit you back on Discord. I thought I did at least. I'm still learning how to use it and whatnot, but I thought I actually used it as a way of DMing you, but maybe not. So hit me up, BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. So glad you guys are with me today. Without Sarah's Twitter, which is a powerhouse, we've got over 700 concurrents between my Twitter and this YouTube channel. You can like the video on your way in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. If you want to connect with me on social media, you can at Bobby Baltimore across all platforms. That's a 0 in the second O in Bobby Baltimore. So check it out. Twitter as well. Appreciate you guys for being here. And on to the next piece of content. Derrick Henry recently sat down with the Rich Eisen show. It was a virtual interview conducted within the last couple days or so. And something that I'm focusing on this offseason is Derrick's demeanor, Lamar's demeanor, and how it has a trickle-down effect on the rest of the organization. Listen to the King talking about the Super Bowl with Rich earlier this week.
To you to win it all, Derrick, what would it mean?
Everything. It'd mean everything because that's what I want. That's all I need, man. I got to get there. I got to get to the mountaintop. Pray to God I get there before it's all said and done.
Do you visualize it? Do you actually let yourself have a mind wander on that stuff?
Every day.
Really? Seriously?
Think about it every day. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, it's what we do it for, so why not? I think about it all the time.
I don't know. Because, I mean, so what do you envision? Like, do you envision holding the trophy, or do you envision a parade? Like, what do you specifically envision?
First, I envision making plays, getting there. Holding the trophy, just the whole nine, the things that you see on the game and after the game, whoever wins, and just the journey of it. I mean, it ain't an easy road, but I definitely want to get there and be able to experience. Say I did it one day. I feel like now the chip, it's not just that. I think it's like for us as a team, because I feel like we have everything we need to win a Super Bowl, win a championship, and I feel like the whole team should have that chip on their shoulder for us to go out there and prove that. So it's not really, I don't really try to think of it as much as me having a chip on my shoulder, but I just like to think like, what are my other teammates thinking, how they approaching it, how they feel, and we should all feel the same way, having that chip of wanting to get what we want and working hard every day to make each other better for that to happen.
Lamar really got it started this past week at his press conference when essentially he used the word vengeance, and vengeance obviously was taken by every single national outlet and blown up into this whole revenge tour in a sense. If you don't remember that specific clip, this was it.
They had a chance to win. It's football. Everything not going to go our way, man. Before it was like, oh, you can't win a playoff game. We won a playoff game. We got to the LC Championship 2 years ago. Then we just fell short, like 2 games short this year. But we're going to bounce back. And when we come back, I feel like we're going to have vengeance on our mind.
Vengeance on our mind. Again, this is what I'm trying to kind of piece together here is this understanding of what's been a off-season long trend. The time is now. It's been a trend because of the front office dealings. It's been a trend because of the way Lamar gets in front of a microphone and speaks like that, right? Acts like he is literally, as we speak right now in real time, on social media, which I'll get to in just a second. Oh, I see it. I'm multitasking during that Derrick Henry clip. We'll get to it in just a second. It's things like this when your future Hall of Fame running back is getting on with Rich Eisen and being unafraid to share what he's thinking, brutally honest about where he's at between the ears, about what he's chasing and what this entire organization is chasing. Rich says, what would it mean to raise the Lombardi? And Derrick says, everything. It would mean everything because that's what I want. That's all that I need. I pray to God I get there before it's all said and done. I think about it every day. Why not? I think about it all the time. Very reminiscent of the way that Lamar used to speak about the Super Bowl earlier on in his career. Not sure if it's due to a concerted effort that it hasn't happened as much in podium press conference settings, But there'd be times where he would be bringing it up unprompted. He'd be bringing it up on his own. In recent years, not so much. I'd have to think that's simply due to narrowing your focus, trying to calm down all the media sensation that comes along with that. But this is what I'm talking about. There's a contagious spirit right now that's team-wide, and there is a fearlessness attached to it in terms of addressing their shortcomings, attempting to right their wrongs. I'm talking about from a front office perspective and a player perspective as well. And moving forward while acknowledging those shortcomings, also understanding that what's in the past is in the past. And what was in the recent past is Lamar Jackson hopping on social media and absolutely burying a commentator. I believe he's in the content space with this comment on Instagram. And he wrote, "I love how y'all lame arse," so lame arses, let's say it, "stay on my pipe. Lamar, no excuses," with a rolling on the floor laughing emoji. When TF, have I ever complained? Just say we have a solid on paper roster so far. All that other shiz, trying my best here. Hey, Billy Slick, I'm coming after you in a second, by the way. You're going to draw my Friday ire. I'm starring your comment. I look forward to it. You don't play for the Eagles, lil brah. Continue to be a fan of the game. That from Lamar in an Instagram comment section that a guy named Ivan or Ivan, depending on the pronunciation, tweeted out within the last couple hours or so. Had the hashtag RavensVault. It came up on my tweet deck. Got me thinking. Lamar is in his 0F phase of his career. He is a Hall of Famer if he hung it up tomorrow. But he would be forever dissected and criticized for his postseason resume. And obviously, he's not hanging it up anytime soon. The dude's friggin' 28 years old. And he's got a lot more left to give. And with a Hall of Fame caliber running back in his backfield now for the foreseeable future, longevity is about to go through the roof, you would think, assuming they can stay healthy, knock on wood, for both players. Now, what I don't even have in my slides right now at this moment, because he's literally tweeting it within the last couple minutes, is Lamar's latest activity, which is pretty similar to what he's doing here, right? This looks to be an Eagles content creator. I haven't identified who it is yet because, quite frankly, I saw the post right before I went live. So let me know if you know who this is, and I'll share it. But once Lamar gets on social, it's over, man. He takes no prisoners. And we already know. Just ask Bernard Pollard. Dude's not afraid to mix it up in the Twitter space. To the screen share feature we go. And here's Lamar's latest activity. Let's go big screen for this. First, it was the Ravens tweeting out a pretty slick photo of Lamar with the follow through. That Chef Curry follow through, hanging it up in the air as if he just shot the rock. It's pretty slick. And the Ravens tweet out, he got game. And some guy named Vatican for Dak at native_ace says the game and refers to Lamar's AFC Championship game with a highlight that I can't play. And he's making fun of him. Trying to troll the Ravens, doesn't tag Lamar. You think Lamar cares if he tags him? Nah, Lamar's in his mentions. And speaking of mentions, Lamar just pulled out a receipt and buried Vatican for Dak because in March of 2022, my man wasn't keeping that same energy. Or maybe he was keeping that same energy and Lamar just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that his energy is flat. Look at this. Oh, wait a second. This is the first time I'm reading this. He wasn't keeping that same energy because he wants a follow. What a sorry arse this guy is. Take a look. Vatican for Dak, who in his bio says public defender of number 4. Vatican-backed QB ministry. Fighting slander with scripture, stats, and all 22. Sundays are for sermons, subpoenas, and owning Eagles fans. In March of 2022, he DMs Lamar and says, "Dog, I be going to war in these Twitter streets defending you. Let me get a follow, bro." My man's on 1 and 2 knees in March of 2022. Excuse my French. So what does Lamar do? Lamar just must be hanging out on this Friday in June, pre-training camp, maybe chilling with the family down in South Florida. And he's like, you know what? This is a pretty slick photo. I'm going to start to scroll through some of the Ravens mentions. And he finds an all-out sucker. Not a sucker, but a sucker. And he just buried Vatican for Dak. Then he follows it up with a little gif. He's in his demon mode. And he's been in his demon mode, has Lamar Jackson. Is there anybody that's got more of a social media game than Lamar? He just put Vatican for Dak in a body bag. And my man Vatican for Dak is trying to search for answers out here. We got to put our prayers up for Vatican for Dak in this moment. There's not enough prayers in Italy. There's not enough prayers that the new Pope can put out into the universe to make Vatican for Dak. Put him in a position where he can recover from this. There's no going back from this. And that right there is your Friday Lamar Jackson social media dose. And I almost feel like I have to refresh the screen right now because that's what he does. He gets into these really what ends up becoming not tirades, but he goes on these, what's the right word that I'm looking for? Twitter sprees? We all remember the Bernard Pollard one from years ago. Wasn't there something with Bart Scott at one point too? This is pretty good. Just when you thought this was going to be good, he goes even deeper. But again, it's sort of this off-season trend of Lamar not giving a rat's you-know-what. Kind of like when he went off script and backed Mark Andrews because of all the slander and noise that he's received this offseason, which again was taken in Lamar's direction mid-press conference earlier this week.
But you got D-Hop, a new addition, and our guys ready, man. Got Bate with a new contract, got LeSean, got Likely, got Mark, Mandrews. Can't forget my guy, man. My guys, I got to get on Mandrews real quick. That guy's different, man, you know, because I've been seeing my guy be getting talked about, and I really don't like that because he's done so much for us. I'm off topic right here, but he's done so much for us and how people did him, you know, I just don't like that. Because Mark's still Mark, you know, Mandrews.
You mentioned this earlier, going back to it. There was a time this offseason where it looked like Mark wasn't certain to be back here. Is that the part that you said bothered you, and did you voice how important you feel like he is?
No, I just seen people like, you know, trying to dog him on comments and stuff. But it's like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of people that wish they could have been playing this game, you know, and he's accomplished so much, you know, for us, you know, himself. So I feel like just let things happen sometimes, you know. We wish we'd have won the game, you know. I wish I didn't throw that interception. I wish I didn't fumble, you know. I wish the mishap didn't happen, but it happened. You know, it's just a lesson learned, man. So next time, we'll do something better. That's all.
See what I mean? There are a number of different receipts that suggest that Lamar's demon mode that he's been in for probably better part of a year, maybe over a year at this point, is here to stay. That was one example. This, of course, was another that we just discussed on Instagram recently. The literal real-time tweeting, going back and forth with folks. He hears and sees all of this. He's a 28-year-old that has access to social media. And he understands that it's been 7+ years of this. of dealing with this kind of noise, with this kind of nonsense, blasphemy, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, overblown content, hyperbolic content, goalpost moving, right? Underappreciation. You can go on and on and on. Lamar has seen it all. And finally, you just get the sense that this dude is taking a stand. Demon mode is here. Demon mode has been here. And demon mode is going absolutely nowhere. And as Rashod Bateman said earlier this week in his NFL Network interview, look out. The league's about to be put on notice. Appreciate you guys for being here today. Got some quick hits coming up and more super chats. And I will have a little bit of fun with Mr. Billy Slick in just a bit, because I think based on his name and his comment interactions, he thinks he's slick. Who knows? Maybe he is this Dak Twitter account. You never know. What is it? Vatican for Dak? You never know. Could be him in a burner mode. Okay, Dope Dad _322 gets us back off and running with super chats. And Dope Dad 322 writes, turnovers in the playoffs, and it's game over. Hashtag Lombardi. You talking about creating turnovers or shoring up turnovers, cleaning up turnovers offensively? Both need to happen, obviously, right? They need to start creating them as a defense, and they need to start limiting them as an offense, obviously. The Chef 87 drops in a $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Chef. What's going on, brother? Park Heights Profit checking in with a $10 super chat donation on top of what he's already doled out today. And he writes, as I guarantee 20-0, I also guarantee 1,000 Voltrons before the summer break. Okay, there may not be a run today. I understand. Tuesday will be epic. Do not give Billy any attention. His jitterbug phone only has 10 more texts left before it shuts off. Billy, you hear that? Park Heights Profit just put you to bed, baby. Night is Friday. Bobby after Doc. I got a cigar staring right at me upstairs. I got 2 pounds of New York sirloin steak. I got Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes and some New York, not Maryland, I know, don't be mad at me, but New York crab cakes coming up tonight. I'm going to be on the back deck that I just pressure washed, that I painted last summer. It's beautiful here in upstate New York, and Billy thinks that he's going to get under my skin. PHP, can you imagine that? Mr. Night, Billy. There's not room for Billy and Bobby in the same chat. That's how it goes. PHP getting us off and running on this Friday. Thank you, brother. And maybe, just maybe, more realistic is 1,000 prior to Tuesday, because vacation begins on Wednesday. Levinson, what's going on, my friend? Levinson writes, you doing great alone today, Bobby. Please check your email when you get a chance. Will do. I remember you asked for it yesterday, so I will look. Thanks for the reminder. Daryl Johnson writes, Bobby, I did the 3-day water fast, no food, and on my last day of the fast, and I can't wait. Oh, you're currently on the last day of your fast. Hell yeah. Daryl Johnson, let's go. Let's speak this thing into existence. You got to be coming down the wire here. I can't wait for Saturday morning. Glad I challenged myself and completed it. I feel pretty good. That's amazing. Daryl Johnson coming down the latter half of his 3-day water fast that Kyle Van Noy, I'm sure, inspired him to attempt to try out. Best wishes, Daryl. I hope you can get through today. Maybe add a little bit of salt or electrolytes or however you're doing it. Maybe tweet at KVN to give you a little bit of love. He seems like he's pretty receptive to folks that are reaching out to him online about the water fast that he just completed prior to minicamp. So best wishes down the stretch. Quick hits. Thank you guys for being here. Still over 800. Like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member. We've got over 900 and counting. Thank you guys for being here, and thanks to Baltimore County Golf for the continued support as our sponsor. Ian Rappaport had this to say about Isaiah Likely earlier this week on the Insider Show.
For a new deal, Isaiah Likely I know the Ravens really see him as the future of the tight end position, even if they still see Mark Andrews with a big role this year. How they handle the Isaiah Likely situation, are they able to lock him up at some point before the season? Will be really, really interesting to tell for Baltimore as well.
Okay, so is there anything breaking there? I would say no. But it's obviously relevant that Ian Rappaport at the NFL Network level, national level, is getting intel that Isaiah is their future. Again, I don't think this is something that is groundbreaking when you take a look at the difference in age and ultimately knowing that it's difficult to have two top 10 as PFF has them ranked in their top 10 tight end list under contract for big time money. The luxury that Isaiah Likely has been over the last 3+ years is notable because he's been on his rookie deal. And they drafted him on day 3 a few years ago, and he's lived up and perhaps surpassed expectations as the pass-catching, almost wide receiver-friendly type of tight end that he has built himself and developed into. And so the only way that I sort of see this existing, obviously, first and foremost, you got to get Lamar extended at some point to free up all that coin from a cap perspective. But it's probably going to come down to Mark, assuming that he continues to play at the all-pro level that he's capable of producing at this upcoming season, even though statistically last year after his slow start, it didn't exactly look upper echelon. He still had 11 touchdowns. Over 600 receiving yards, I think, if memory serves. I think Mark's going to get paid. And what I mean by that is if he puts forth yet another season of Pro Bowl caliber numbers and value, what I mean by that is there's going to be a team out there that can probably offer and will offer a lot more than what the Ravens are able to do, assuming that they want to extend Isaiah Likely and not allow him to walk. He is in their future. And so in order to keep both, in a perfect world, I would think that Mark would be making the decision based on legacy, loyalty, longevity, and if they don't win at all, maybe attempting to run it back with the organization that he's been with and was drafted by. I would think that Mark's going to have to take less, perhaps a hometown discount to make this work, and ultimately sacrifice coin for all those other things that I just mentioned. I would think that's probably the most feasible, or not feasible, but the most realistic way of keeping both of these players on the same team. If both of them are considered top 10 tight ends, and I think that's an accurate ranking by PFF, I just don't know how realistic it is to view both players as eligible for receiving top 5 kind of contract extension from the Ravens. I just don't know if that's feasible business-wise. And so if Isaiah is indeed their future, and he does indeed go on to have a season that I think a lot of us are expecting, and Mark continues to be trustworthy in the regular season and hopefully translate that into the postseason, then the Ravens are going to have a decision to make. And ultimately, Mark is going to have a decision to make. Interesting times. Speaking of interesting, does this qualify? It's probably my favorite quick hit of all time. Sarah decided to spend part of her post-show time yesterday throwing on a purple robe, opening up a bag of popcorn, grabbing some Ray-Bans, cracking open a Sprite that she definitely didn't drink, that was definitely a prop, putting her feet up on her desk. I love her office, by the way, in Columbus. It's friggin' dope. Dope house, dope neighborhood, dope family, dope partner. It's dope everything. And this was pretty dope as well because Sarah just shot her shot. I've never seen anywhere in the gym where she feels she's incapable of shooting from. She's never seen a shot that she don't like. And she lifted one from 3/4 court yesterday for Chris Broussard. And she tweeted at Chris and she wrote, "We would love to have you as a guest inside the vault to talk Ravens football." Bobby and I will not be rude hosts. We've got our purple robes, sunglasses, chips, soda pop, and we'll bring a sandwich. Mata meatloaf. What do you say? What I hope you're saying right now is I got to get to Twitter and I got to tweet at Chris Broussard to ensure that he sees this. And I hope you guys consider doing so. At Chris_Broussard. That's BROUSSARD. Go find Sarah's post. Engage with it if you could. Retweet it and favorite it if you could. Tweet at Chris multiple times if you so choose. And let's get this guy on the show before we go on vacation. Because I know a lot of you, many of you, appreciate his content, his commentary, his protectiveness of Lamar Jackson, and ultimately the entertaining value that he brings to Fox. This is freaking hysterical. Sarah at her best. Does she ever miss? Let me know. There's something about Sarah that becomes untouchable when booking national analysts. She don't got any range. Her range is limitless, like the Ravens' defensive structure and alignments, with all the pieces that they now have in that puzzle. So, partner, well done if you're watching. I love everything about this interaction, and I hope that you guys will go check it out. Perhaps Chris Broussard will be making his, or Brew, as he's referred to by Nick Wright. Perhaps he makes his debut inside the vault on a day coming soon. Minicamp is in the books. Mandatory minicamp. Next up is training camp. Kyle Van Noy getting some love post-water fast, saying that thing did wonders. There he is, number 53, getting after it. Looking like he's in mid-season form. And some other shots from minicamp as well. Tyler Linderbaum. Who's that? Broderick Washington? Is that Travis Jones to his right? Looks like it. That's the crew. Back to Super Chats we go. The 15th is when rookies report. If you haven't checked out our interview yesterday with Teddy Buchanan, Ravens' 4th round pick from in April, the Cal linebacker, would love for you to go check it out. Park Heights Prophet says Billy's the kind of guy who goes to Taco Bell. Oh, Billy's catching some, not strays, some direct shots right now. Let's see if he can recover. Park Heights Prophet's going right for his neck. And he writes, Billy's the kind of guy who goes to Taco Bell and says gracias when he gets his order. I haven't heard that one before. He wears socks with sandals and doesn't ask for dessert, but rather says, I could do something sweet. All right, I got it. I'm going to get one in there. You ready for this? Just to piggyback off of what PHP is doing to him, because Billy's got no response, and I know it. He's quivering right now. Billy's the kind of guy that talks the way he does. He's been taking shots all day long, which is fine. Free speech country, best country. Totally fine. Within his rights. But Billy, I have an inkling, is the type of guy that takes those shots behind the screen with his fingers. And then when he just so happens to run into me or someone else he's dragging online at a tailgate or at CVS or at the airport or wherever we might cross each other's paths at some point in the near future, he decides to get on one knee and then two knees. Much like the Vatican for Dak, which is probably his burner account, chooses to do with Lamar Jackson. Because when you're in the DMs, nobody can see it. You can't get that extra sense of adrenaline, right? That rush that comes with trying to drag somebody. But yet, when push comes to shove and the lights are on and you have a face-to-face interaction with that person, you fold. That's what you do, Billy. You fold. Because he ain't slick at all. And with that is my one more thing for Mr. Billy. Park Heights Prophet, thank you for inspiring that. Let's get to some patrons before we get out of here. Alistair McLaughlin and Clinton Ganaway. Thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you for your continued support through Patreon. I can only imagine what's going on in the live chat right now. I'm smiling because I'm not looking, but the number is literally rising by the second. I have over 100 plus, and I haven't seen anything. Maybe I'll scroll through after patrons, just for, I almost swore, just for S's and giggles. Excuse my French. But Clinton and Alistair, appreciate you both. Thank you both. This is your monthly shout out because of the support that you give us through Patreon. And if you guys are interested in doing the same, patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. Great way to support the channel. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Is Mr. Slick still around? No. No, he's not around. That's because he's a little boy. That's a little boy. Oh, I'll see you in Fells. Oh, he is still around. I'll see you in Fells, Bobby. You don't want to see me in Fells. I'm telling you, Billy. You don't want to see me in Fells. You can't even handle right now that you got 800 plus people that are in this chat right now, and every single one of them are taking your lunch money, telling you get on both knees, make us a sandwich, Billy. Go make that sandwich. And Billy, while you're at it, because remember, just like Dak for Reverend or whatever his name is, Reverend for Dak, whatever that might be, right? Billy, if you could, go pop on your burner. You can hit me up on social media. As Dion says, I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to find, okay? And then butter me up the way I know you do when nobody's watching. Butter me up, Buttercup. It's Billy Buttercup for me, baby. That's what we're coming up with. That's what we're sticking with. Billy, I hope we see you on Monday. It's Billy Buttercup in this bit. Park Heights Prophet, he's not done yet. Man, you guys we might mess around and stay here till 1:30 and have a little bit of off the rails conversation. You never know. PHP says, I am from Park Heights. We don't send strays. We come direct. He hasn't responded because his mother snatched his phone. Hey, Billy, come up 83. Somewhere Sarah's on a lake right now on a boat saying, Bobby is promoting violence. What happened on this Friday? And she's probably right. And we should probably go before things go off the rails. Park Heights, you're hysterical. Jeremiah saying, Sarah, save us. Sarah, where are you? It's time to go. I'm leaving it at that. Billy Buttercup, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Park Heights ain't done. He's using emojis now. Oh, you guys are funny. It's all in good fun. We're having a blast. And to Fells Point we go with 800 strong. Thank you guys for an awesome week. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. We got steak on deck tonight. We got stogies, New York Monte Cristos. We got sweet potatoes. We got Brussels sprouts. We got crab cakes. Brother's in town from New York. His girlfriend's in town. Cooking on Hinge right now in St. Pete. Got a really cute girl. Recent match from Bosnia. Feels promising. She lives on the opposite coast, but up in St. Augustine. But I'm looking forward to maybe seeing what that's all about and going from there. So that's my latest. It's been a long time since I gave you a dating update. So we'll be trying to keep you up to speed as much as possible. Levinson says, don't worry about Billy Buttercup. All right. Just because you said so, Levinson. Thank you, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Sarah and I will be back on Monday. If you haven't already, please tweet at us with your mailbag submission for our Q&A. We're doing a pre-recorded mailbag. We've gotten a ton through Discord and the YouTube community post that we put up yesterday. So if you have a second right after the show is over, go check it out. Would love to get a submission from each and every one of you, and we'll try to get as many in as we can for a little pre-recorded content that we'll be dropping while we're out. So appreciate you. Have an awesome weekend. Sarah and I will both be back on Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday and then off for 10 days as I travel and backpack through Asia and as she spends some time on the lake. Thanks, guys. Thanks to Baltimore County Golf for the continued support. Please like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And hit that notification bell and consider becoming a channel member so we can hit that $1,000 number or 1,000, it's not dollar, 1,000 member number coming up next week before we jump. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. And as always, Voltrons, even you, Buttercup, we appreciate you for spending some time with us here inside the vault. We'll talk to you soon.